Zapad. Its name itself just means West in Russian. But it's more than just a military exercise. It's Moscow's message to the world, a rehearsal for war, a show of force, and a dangerous gamble that brings us closer than ever to World War III. As Putin struggles on the battlefield in Ukraine, Zapad 2025 isn't just about the training. It's about intimidation, desperation, and covering up his failure, not just in Ukraine, but domestically, at home. And the real question for all of us to ask is this: would you leave the future of Europe to chance?
93-71, раздел 40.
54.
What is Zapad? Well, Zapad is a series of joint Russian-Belarusian military exercises held every 4 years. Officially, they're defensive, but in reality, they simulate large-scale offensives against NATO. In the past, Russia has staged mock nuclear strikes, rehearsed invasions of Poland and the Baltic states, and used Belarus as a springboard. During Zapad 2017, 70,000 troops participated. This year, the number is a lot lower. Not by choice, but because Russia has already lost and got troops to the equivalent of 500,000 operating in Ukraine. But don't be fooled. Even a depleted Russia can still cause chaos. That's why Zapad is so dangerous. It's practice for escalation, not peace.
If he was winning, he'd be in Kyiv. If he was winning, he'd be west of the Dnieper River. If he was winning, he'd be on Odessa. If he was winning, he would have changed the government. Russia is, in fact, losing this war. Now, they may make movements and say, so, well, they're advancing in the Donbass region and the Donetsk. But if you consider advancing moving by meters, not miles, well, then, okay, that's successful. But at the cost that they're having, it's enormous. And I don't think people truly appreciate it. It's a number. But the numbers they have lost, when you're talking dead and wounded, well over 1 million, they left Afghanistan after losing 18,000. We left Vietnam after losing 65,000. They've lost over 1 million dead or wounded. These numbers are World War II level numbers when you think about it. They're stunning in the loss. And this is and their first line units that they came and tried to take Kyiv with a little over four years ago. Those first line units are gone. So they've gone through a second or a third or fourth iteration of wartime commanders. They're pulling tanks out of mothballs, out of museums, to put on the battle line. They can't operate in large movements because the Ukrainians will kill them.
Putin's failing on core principles. Military strength. Russia was supposed to have the second most powerful army in the world. But in Ukraine, it's shown it can't even take cities like Pokrovsk without suffering catastrophic losses. Equipment is outdated, soldiers are untrained, and morale is slowly collapsing. Energy dominance. Gas pipelines once gave Moscow leverage over Europe. Today, Europe has diversified, cutting reliance on Russian energy. Instead, weaponizing oil, Putin has turned his own economy hostage. Propaganda and control. At home, the Kremlin TV still spins victory. Abroad, Russian disinformation is losing traction. Yes, it still infects parts of the West. You see it in people parroting Kremlin talking points, but few are buying it. And really, they're not accepting the lies. Diplomatic influence. Russia's used to court Africa, Middle East, even the EU. Now it leans on North Korea and Iran. And that's not global leadership. That's desperation and survival.
Да ё-моё. Всё не угомонятся. Годы.
Putin's failures are systemic. He's losing military, economically, and diplomatically. And when autocrats lose, they escalate. Here's where Zapad becomes terrifying. Exercises like this blur the line between drills and real war. In 2025, Russian drones have already violated Polish airspace. Airports shut down, jets scrambled, NATO invoked Article 4. All it takes is one drone, one missile, one accident, and Article 5, the collective defense clause, could be triggered. Putin knows this. He's using Zapad to probe NATO resolve, to see how far he can go without consequences, to distract from failures in Ukraine and domestically at home, and to show strength he doesn't actually have. But history teaches us wars often start not with deliberate plans, but with miscalculations. A drill mistaken for an attack, for example, an exercise that goes a bit too far. That's why Zapad isn't just dangerous, it's reckless.
I'm 78 years old. Young people are collecting. How can I come here from where, collect water and bring it home? How can? Yes, there was no water for 2 weeks.
And as far as I know, today is the day the water is supplied.
Yes, at an extreme zero. If he hadn't gone home, we would not have found it. I'm saying to make it darker now.
Why now? Because Putin needs a win. He's promised to take Kiev in 3 days. 3 years later, he's still fighting. Ukraine still stands. He's promised Russians economic security. Instead, inflation bites, and soldiers are coming home in coffins. He's promised the world a multipolar order, and the new world order is what you keep hearing. Russia is a junior partner to China, and more so, North Korea. Zapad is Putin's attempt to rewrite the narrative. He can't deliver victory on the battlefield, so he creates the illusion of power on the training ground. He wants to scare NATO, to divide Europe, to bluff his way into relevance. But bluffing with nuclear drills and drone flights isn't strength, it's desperation. And desperation is when leaders are most dangerous.
Спартак, дивись туди. А я дивлюсь прямо.
Let's be clear. Putin is failing militarily, economically, and diplomatically. The cracks are everywhere. But when dictators fail, they don't step back, they double down. Zapad isn't about readiness, it's about masking weakness. It's about gambling with the stability of Europe and with the lives of millions. And so I'll leave you with this thought. Would you leave this to chance? Would you risk that a desperate Putin backed into a corner won't make the mistakes that trigger World War III? The answer must be no. NATO must remain united. The West must remain strong, and the world must understand weakness invites aggression, but strength, clarity, and resolve prevent catastrophe. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that leaving dictators unchecked never ends well. Zapad isn't training, it's a warning.